Hello guys, hope you're enjoying your day. Thought I'd show you a bit of the funny side of Project Cars 2. In the most part, it's a good game and I'm really enjoying it, loving it. Then you unlock this event with either the McClaren F1 or the Jaguar XJ220. You have to do this event. And look at this, sliding out already. But in this event, you have to do this race. It's in a storm and you can't change that at all. You can't change the weather settings or anything. You just got to go straight into it. And as you can see here, even while I'm being real careful on the throttle at relatively low speeds, they're still just spinning out. I'm fighting with the steering loads and stuff. Seems to be nothing I can do whatsoever. It's good fun trying, but how unrealistic is that though? And especially when you see that the computer controlled cars, the AI cars, are just flying around like there's nothing, you know. They'll be going a lot slower because of the conditions, you know, that's realistic. They will be going slower than they would be going on a dry track or on light rain track even, you know. But I just don't see how they could develop this and say they've had race drivers test it and stuff and they say this is realistic. Because it isn't. You'll still be able to drive it as long as you're being careful with the throttle and everything like I am. You'll still be able to keep it on the straight and narrow with it hardly ever twitching and losing traction and all that sort of thing, you know. You've got to really sort of give it a bit of beans to start losing traction. Even in a McClaren F1, I know it won't take too much, but still, you know, look how much throttle I've got on now. Hardly anything, but as soon as I hit a bit of water, I'll probably spin out. Look at these, look, just fly past like it's nothing. Look at them, flying along. That's how it should be. See, I managed to pick up a bit of speed there, but as soon as I try and turn, look, it's just sliding right out. I'm really having to fight for this though. And that's just going to go, it's going to go, I can't hold on to it.
Blue flag, you've got faster cars
and you just can't hold enough speed to compete in this event. That would be interesting to know how people are getting on who are using the steering wheel who try this. Look, that just decide to spin out. It's hardly touching anything then, if anything. And it just decide to just whip the back end out like I've really put on a load of power and turned the wheel, you know. So you can tell these are going slower than they would be in drive because, you know, I could keep up them a bit on certain parts where there's not quite so much water. You can do alright, but then as soon as you hit a bit of standing water, a bit of a puddle, it's just like an ice rink. You've got no chance, especially like I say, with a controller, you've got no chance of driving this. And it's not like this all the time, that's what's odd, you know. I thought that would be a bit of a struggle. I thought it'd, you know, be a bit of a fight, but I thought I'd still be able to drive it okay, you know. I'll be able to try it a few times and get into it and do it, but there's no way like this. But in other cars, even, you know, some GT3 cars, GT4 cars, I've driven in the rain and they're rear wheel drive as well, and closely matched to this car or the XJ220, or at least the XJ220. And their rear wheel drive as well. And I could still throw it around like that was nothing. You'd have to be fairly careful and ease on the throttle like you would do in real life, even in the dry and really powerful rear wheel drive cars. You have to ease on the throttle, not just bash on the throttle as soon as you start coming out of a bend, because you will spin out, but you should be able to at least drive it around being careful, you know, a bit twitchy out there, but not just like you're on ice, whereas the AI is not. It's going along fine, man. It's fun trying it out, but that's just slightly over the top, I think. I just don't think it's possible that it'd be like that. I guess it's because they haven't really, you know, that's the thing they should have done with this game and the previous game, is they should have the game physics work work a certain way while you're using a controller, and a certain way while using the steering wheel, because obviously this is optimised for the steering wheel, so your force feedback might make it work a bit better. Right, let's try it in this. Try it in the XJ220, see if it feels anything different. This is the first time I've used it. But see, I can't even get away quick enough and they just hit me straight up the rear. It feels a little bit better so far, but I bet as soon as I hit some standing water properly and stuff, that's going to go just as bad probably, because these are similar powered cars. I think they're both high powered rear wheel drive cars anyway. This one's a pretty amazing one really. It's like 600 horsepower or something for a V6. There we go, start sliding away. I managed to hold it a bit alright there. Feels okay, but this is where it's going to go all wrong, especially after hitting the grass. Don't want to hit the grass. This is where most of the standing water is on this track, and that's just like ice. You can't do nothing. That's like I couldn't do nothing about that slide. Look, even low speeds, hardly any throttle on that, and that's just really jerking round. Even with putting opposite lock on and stuff, you can't bring it under control. Trying everything, throttle on, off, opposite lock and everything, you just can't do anything, can't pick the speed up what they're doing. I think it's really unfair for people who buy games like this, because a lot of them can't, like myself, can't afford to buy an expensive steering wheel, so you can't do it. At least this is one thing that's realistic. At least we can do donuts. That's one thing that used to annoy me in a lot of older games and stuff. It's like, well, this car should be able to do donuts, you know, and should be able to do this and that, but the car's just not reacting like it should do. At least this game's got it right in a way. I just think in the rain like this, I think it just seems a little over the top. Not quite realistic, but surely they tested it to see how it is. But like I say, I've got the sensitivity on really low, about 5–10% on the throttle and brakes. But still, obviously I'm giving it a bit more there, and it's kicking out a bit. But sometimes on this standing water, from a really low speed, I hardly touch the throttle, and you'll see only a little bit of green bit on the right hand side where the throttle shows how much throttle I'm putting on. And at like 20 miles an hour still, with hardly any throttle, that will just kick out. Look, I'll put it in this view so you can see what sort of inputs I'm having to put in on the steering wheel. Just watch, you'll see I'm constantly fighting there, this steering wheel. Look at this total opposite lock, not bringing it back at all. I'm having to give it quite a bit of throttle to try and bring it back. Look, hardly any throttle there, and it's just sliding straight sideways. Do me a favour, anyone who watched this, you know, that'd be nice if you subscribe to me, but go to a big YouTuber you watch who play these games, who's got a steering wheel, and tell them to do these invitational events for the British Supercar, which is the McClaren F1 or the XJ220 in a storm, so we can see how they get on with a steering wheel. That'll be really interesting to find out. See, certain parts of the track you can just about get enough traction, and if you go fast enough through some of the standing water, you can just about hold it. But there we go again, it's just starting to kick out again. There's not a lot I can do about that. Lucky I can even control it to keep it going on the grass area. That's just as bad on the road as it is on the grass. It truly is, you know. Like I say, you drive a GT3 or a GT4 car, you'll be flying around still. Right, let's try and change some of these up. Let's put the driving aids on and see if that makes any difference, see if we can actually get by. Right, I think that's all I need to change. Let's change it back to the other view and we'll see how we get on now. Still having to be careful with this throttle, see, I'm still not getting that speed away from the start, even though just smacking into the back of me. So far it feels kind of okay, but I'm still having to be real careful. There's not quite so much standing water as we're going to encounter in a bit, so I didn't slow down quite enough there and you're still going to slide for miles. There we go, this is the worst part of the track it seems. This is where most of the standard water seems to be, and that's where it goes wrong. Yeah, it's just, look, what I tell you, it's just going wrong now. It's just deciding to slide out everywhere. There's not a lot I can do, and this is with driving aids on. And I still can't seem to do anything. I've got traction control on high, got stability control and braking assist, steering assist. All the assists on. I can't remember if there was an acceleration assist, probably isn't, but there's braking assist, steering assist, traction control on high, stability control on, all that, and I still know enough impossible to do this race. And remember to tell these YouTubers, if you do go on bigger YouTubers who plays this game, let me know if you're going to do it as well and who you're going to ask, and go and pester them into trying this event out. It's an invitational event for the British Supercars event. Can't remember what track this is. I think, is it Silverstone? I'm not sure now. Can't remember, but that, you know, that's the event. It's the British Supercar, and it's in the McClaren F1 or the Jaguar XJ220. Automatically, when you first go on, it puts you in the XJ220. But when I first done it, I changed the car straight away for the F1. I'd really like to see how people would get on with this. With a controller and a steering wheel would be interesting. It's good fun trying that out. Go ahead and try it out yourselves if you've got the game. See how you do. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Go tell these other YouTubers to try it out so we can see how they do. I'll see you in the next video.